What is going on, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop. NBA DFS conversation starts right now on a Thursday, on a Fleet Thursday. We're giving away another week free of RG Premium. We gave away 3 individual weeks yesterday with the wheel. We're giving away another week of RG Premium. Just tell me what athletes we're talking about here in the Discord channel. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Be the first person to do so. One clue will drop every 10-15 minutes or so, give or take. They'll be scrolling at the bottom. Producer Steve is all over it. It's myself and Bobby Gomes, the first hour and 15, give or take, until we yield to crunch time. TJ Zwarych coming in. TJ, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And we got Kirkwood, Kirkdiese as well, joining TJ again around 6:15 for crunch time, taking you all the way up to lock. The slates did not cooperate. DK said, you know what? We're going to not let the people have to think about the Jazz and the Pelicans or the Lakers and the Suns, but that's FanDuel. FanDuel cut those games off, but DK said, let's include it. DK wants us thinking about the Utah Jazz and Lauri Markkanen's MRA that may or may not be legitimate. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on in the evening. It's myself, Bobby Gomes. Bobby, happy Thursday. How are things?
Happy Thursday. I have a guess for the athlete. You're on mute. Rookie mistake once again.
But there hasn't even been a clue drop.
You've been doing this show for 15 years.
How do you have a guess with no clue? I don't understand.
I'm gonna guess Jack Hughes. You know, America's wonder boy, Jack Hughes, dating Tate McRae. Game-winning goal, the golden goal, Dean. I heard he's getting a golden tooth. He's replacing his tooth with a golden tooth.
I didn't see that, but I did see apparently there's some controversy that he's dating Tate McRae.
Yeah. Good for him.
He's Canadian.
Hockey needs that. Hockey needs it. She's big with like all the 25-year-old girls and college girls. So yeah,
I'm only aware. I saw her on SNL like once, and I was like, I didn't know who it was. She was on the same night as Shane Gillis, and I was like, I don't know who this person is, but yeah, I'm just not hip with the.
Is that Shane Gillis funny? I think Shane Gillis is kind of funny.
Yeah, I like Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis.
In an alternate universe, he would have been on SNL, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. I heard that story actually.
Yeah. Is that something that's played in the Bobby Gomes household? Are you rocking out to Tate McRae? I don't know much about her. I don't know her work very well. I know she's popular.
I don't know her music very well. I see a lot of the clips. They look fantastic. I'm not really usually listening to the music, you know, when you're on Instagram scrolling, but she does look good. Whatever she's doing there. Canada, they breed them well.
Shout out to TJ Zwarych. There you go. He'll be on later on in the show. I did say that we're going to be having a Fleet Thursday. Clues will be dropping momentarily. Producer Steve's all over it. I'm pretty sure we had a conversation about which clue was dropping first. That's why I don't want to officially say what it is, but I think I know what it is. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I think the first clue is chicken. I don't know if that changes things for you, Bobby, but I like that you're participating. I appreciate the participation. It is not Jack Hughes. And now you have actually a clue to work with. First clue is chicken. Tell me what fleet we're talking about in the Discord channel. First person to do so correctly gets a week free of RG Premium. Again, DK cut off the slate. No New Orleans, no Utah, no Lakers, no Suns. Nobody cares about Minnesota Clippers unless you're in those showdown streets. We're waiting for some news, of course. Big news already is Jalen Johnson's out for Atlanta, but there's more that could potentially drop with the Hawks taking on the Wizards. Dallas has like so few minimal bigs that we have Marvin Bagley. This is like the ultimate revenge game. He's set up perfectly against his former team, the former number 2 pick overall by the Kings. One of the reasons why the Sacramento Kings are where they are right now is because they drafted Marvin Bagley 6 years ago. I don't know, 5 years ago. When was that? I don't recall exactly, but I'm 99% sure he's the number 2 overall pick. For real, that did happen because the Kings are a terrible organization. One of my other favorite plays, midday downgrade, Donovan Clingan. We'll see how that works out, but he's currently questionable, which is, that's going to make things dicey. And if we lose more pieces on Atlanta, which we potentially might, Atlanta's going to really open up. But, yeah, the absence of Jalen Johnson taking on the Wizards, the 7 worst teams in the association when it comes to defensive efficiency are playing tonight. So there's a lot of bad defenses. You know, Washington, we mentioned Utah, The Bulls are bad defensively. The Kings, of course, stink. So, there's no shortage of places to find, good spots to attack. Back half of back-to-back, there's 3 teams. It's Sacramento, San Antonio, and Houston. 2 teams, Bobby, on the front end. That's Brooklyn and Dallas. Tankathon stuff is still in full effect. General thoughts, big picture, how we seeing the slate before we fully dive into the old game-by-game deal?
Yeah, I'm targeting a lot of Portland, and like the Portland-Chicago game mainly. Love Buzelis, love Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson I like a good bit. Mix in some Utah value as well with this whole Lauri Markkanen situation that at this point doesn't make sense. Well, it does make sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
It makes sense, yeah, obviously, but yeah.
This is the 3rd year in a row they're doing it. Utah was shutting down Lauri Markkanen with a fake injury, but yeah.
The NBA sent someone, I guess, to kind of figure out.
No, that story was debunked. The guy retracted it. He actually did not happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they should if they haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the Marvin Bagley chalk, obviously you hit on the Marvin Bagley revenge. I don't really know how vengeful he is, but he's someone that definitely stands out from a value perspective. Drew Holiday, I think, is someone I'm very interested in tonight with this, especially with like everything that like the Portland, Chicago, just the pace and just that game in general. Yeah, and then spending up for Luka, like, are we spending up for Luka? I feel like we might have the value. I feel like my teams will have a lot of Klingon, so I can get down to like a Robert Williams type if possible to make paying for Luka easier, I guess. If Klingon's ruled out, that is. But
Robert Williams is also questionable too, and I think he's highly questionable. So and I don't know how many minutes he can even play. But yeah, so we'll get there, Bobby, with Portland's. Because the other side is Yabusele is 6'7". There's no bigs on Chicago either, really, of note. So we very, very well might get and that's one of the reasons why I like Klingon. He's at 7 inches on Gershon Yabusele there. But we'll probably, I think, get Jeremy Grant starting at the 5. I think that's what will happen.
Would be the biggest benefactor.
I mean, you're going to get some run from other players, and we don't know what to deal with Robert Williams either. 8:00 game on the East Coast. Yeah, I think the game's just going to be small. I think it's just going to be a small game because it's going to work better for both rosters. But if Klingon goes, I think he's amazing. I just hope he's not limited. Like he goes and he's limited. Like if we saw Jamal Murray last night was ill and just he had to tap out. And I respect giving it a go, but if you're going to give it a go, give it a go. You know what I mean? I don't want you at I don't want half measures. But all 7-2 of Klingon, who's been awesome of late too. He's been smashing 6 of his last 7 games, multiple triples. Rebounding, he can get 15 boards in this game. Would not be surprising. But again, I don't know how healthy he is. Midday downgrade with an illness. He had the fish, the deep dish pizza. I'm not sure what he had there in Chicago. The beef, but yeah, it's something to monitor. But that is one of the most important games. Like I really think that's a hugely important game on this slate. So yeah, I wrote up Klingon earlier. Immediately once I sent my Klingon blurb is when that's just how that works. So yeah, he's downgraded to questionable. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? That's such as life doing content for NBA. You know how it goes, Bobby.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get dicier as the season progresses. But yeah, and then Robert Williams might not play. Yeah, it's really, really interesting to see how that game's going to go down. And the Bulls are without Jalen Smith. Vuk is out the door, so that they can very easily just go smaller, and that could be a fun game for sure. And pretty obvious game stack. The Luka thing, yeah, I don't think he's going to be the expensive. He's expensive, only DK, not on FanDuel. There's some backlash out there about Luka. I'm not sure if you saw I don't know if he is kind of he's probably reading the media and stuff, and supposedly people are already kind of well, maybe the honeymoon's over for the Luka in LA, and he didn't take the final shot the other day, passed up on a, not an amazing shot, but at least an open look about 30 feet away or so, and he gave it up for a bad shot for LeBron. But I don't know. In Phoenix, on the other side, that their offense is just in the absolute tank in the absence of Booker, but the Lakers' defense is pretty terrible. maybe that's the antidote. But Phoenix's offense has been so dreadful most recently. Anything else we want to say as far as big picture, what we're monitoring? I think Atlanta's the other one that's pretty obvious too, because not just Jalen Johnson being out, that's super important, but, two players that are questionable, and Alexander Walker, who I think could be very good. He's questionable. And then they have Ricochet questionable. And I'm waiting for Kuminga. And we saw in the debut, and I don't want to overreact, but in his debut, and of course, part of that was because Jalen got hurt, Kuminga was spectacular, and they're facing the Wizards. So I think he's one of my favorite plays as of right now, and he could get better, but he'll become much more popular if we lose one of those two, or Ricochet. And maybe they play it, safe because it's the Wizards, and the Wizards are just happy to accommodate a loss. They'll just hand you the win. So you don't necessarily need to play guys that are questionable. So I'm curious how that's going to go down, but yeah. You got anything else here, Bobby, before we dive in?
Yeah, I front ran Kuminga the other night and definitely worked out. That's it. We can kind of hop into the games.
Okay, let's jump in. Let's do it. First game of the slate. It's my Miami Heat in Philadelphia. 238.5 is the total. It's high and it's tight. The Sixers are just, 2.5 point favorites here. Big boy total. So in theory, this should be a good game environment. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid officially probable with his knee. We know Paul George is still suspended. Kelly Oubre, they insist on putting on the injury report all the time with his available tag. Nothing changing there. So Miami, we have Norm Powell, midday downgrade with his groin. He's got a groin, so we're not sure if he can play with his groin or not. They put a lot of available tags as well, but Jovic is still out with his back. Did I just see lineup HQ? Okay, I thought that was okay. That changed back for a second there. Unless I imagined it, I thought they moved Davion Mitchell out of the starting lineup or out of the projections. That's not the case. He is questionable with his head. But we did put him back in. We're currently projecting him in. Heat, Sixers. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so if Powell and Mitchell are out, I think Andrew Wiggins probably gets the biggest boost. I also think that Hero, we have him for 28 minutes. I think he probably sees around 30. I like Hero, like Wiggins. Bam would be my favorite in this game. I'm not getting a ton of the Miami side, but I am more bullish on basically Philadelphia. He'd really struggle to cover point guards, and Tyrese Maxey is someone I'm very interested in. I also think you can make a case for Embiid. I know he didn't play full minutes the other night. Maybe he does here. But right now, leaning towards Maxey. I think Quentin Grimes and VJ Edgecombe are also in play. So those are mainly the guys I'm targeting from this game. And waiting on the Powell news and Davion Mitchell.
Embiid played 26 minutes last game. It was a blowout versus the Pacers. He only played 2.5 minutes of the fourth. So he probably would have got close to 30. I imagine he would have got close to 30. We're projecting 31 today. So I think he's mostly full.
If he's playing, he's full. That's how I see it. And it's a tight spread, right? So
yeah. I mean, barring something goofy, I think he should play about 30, 31, 32. It's an island game as well. So I guess my question is, Hero, is there a chance Hero can grab more minutes? We're projecting 27 for Tyler Hero. Since coming back from his injury, he's played 23, 23, 26. But all those games have been kind of blowouts, or at least blowout-ish. Certainly the first one against Atlanta was like a 30-point blowout. He dropped a 24 spot in 23 minutes. He was firing away. He hasn't been very good as far as making his shots his last couple games, but he is shooting. You like seeing that. Involved in the offense, 6 assists both of the last 2 games as well. I sort of wonder how many more minutes he can play. Like, can he possibly start? We haven't seen him start yet. Is this something they would announce or would just sort of happen? You know what I mean? But it's just something to keep an eye on with Miami if Powell's out. Somebody in chat, Mills is asking, can I play Maxey Embiid with Pele Larson as a run back? I mean, yeah, I guess. Could Maxey and Embiid both get there? And, overtime would be beautiful, obviously. Do you think you'll play those guys together? It's a lot of salary.
I wouldn't play them together just because of how much salary it's taking up. It's probably be one of the two. Current lean is Maxey. But like I said, I think for tournaments, Embiid and Hero and trying to get ahead on those guys, I think is fine. But Maxey is definitely my favorite play from this game.
I like Maxey more than Embiid, if for no other reason. I just like the other centers better than the other point guards. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like Bagley today. I want to play Bagley. I love Klingon if he plays. I do like Embiid fine. It's just that I think I like the pivots better at point guard than center. We'll talk about Precious Achua, another guy that's kind of hitting pretty strong. Yabusele's hitting pretty strong. Akamu is pretty interesting. Just think the pool at center is just kind of better than the pool at point guard. I know we'll talk about Drew Holiday, who's expected to be very popular for Portland in the absence of some pieces. No Denny Avdia. And they also have notes here as far as Miami and Philly. Larson's been playing a ton of minutes of late. Just want to mention that. He's very much entrenched in this rotation. Second round pick for the Heat, getting a lot of burn, a lot of run. Anything else we should say as far as Miami and Philly?
No, I think we've covered Miami and Philly. Your Heat.
Yeah, my Heat's forever in no man's land. We're not bad enough to get a lottery pick. We're not good enough to make any noise in the playoffs. We'll get swept in the first round, and congratulations. Great job, Miami. Another year down the drain. But maybe they get Giannis in the offseason. Probably not. Let's give the people clue number 2 here in a second for today's fleet. I did check out the live stream chat. I don't think anybody binked it. It's not Paige Beckers or Xander Bogaerts, who I just drafted in my that's where we're at in the draft right now. It's a deep draft on a 14-team.
All right, to that team, Xander Bogaerts.
I just drafted him 5 minutes ago. We're in round 17 or so.
That's easily the worst contract in baseball.
Well, Rendon, does that still
count?
Rendon's
definitely the worst, but
it's a bad one. It's definitely a bad one, and they got him signed for 4 more years.
Are you loading up on pitching?
No, I got nobody cares about my team, but I have Chris Sale, Framber, Yuri Perez. Yuri Perez is going to be a Cy Young sleeper, and then Lodolo for Cincinnati. I love Lodolo, and we're sitting on Garrett Cole. We're hoping to get Garrett Cole and stash him in the IL, but nobody cares. Nobody cares.
What about Hunter Green? No Hunter Green for Cincinnati.
I love the Reds pitching in general. They're always fireballers. I just wish they played somewhere else. But yeah, Hunter Green's got some nasty stuff as well. It's not Lou Williams or Wade Boggs, but Wade Boggs is a good guess. Did you know? Fun fact: Wade Boggs before every single game ate chicken. That was his ritual.
I just know my dad hated him as a Red Sox.
Your dad was probably a Yankee fan, and
no, he's a Red Sox fan. And he just didn't like him.
Because he betrayed the Red Sox and went to the Yankees. That's interesting.
Maybe
he didn't like. He just didn't like.
He never gave me his reasoning.
Okay. Also, he allegedly drank 40 beers on that on a plane. Give that a Google too. He liked his he got thirsty. He liked his beer and he liked his chicken. Hornets. I think he went into the Hall of Fame as a Ray. By the way, I want to say the Rays paid him a bunch of money to go in the Hall of Fame as a Ray. I could be making that up, but I think that did happen. The second clue.
I think I heard that too.
The second clue is scrolling. It is Kia, chicken, and Kia. That is your first 2 clues for Fleet Thursday. I forgot what day it was there for a second. Hornets and the Pacers, 229.5 is the total. The Hornets are 13-point favorites in Indiana. Kind of a shock on the injury report. I don't think he's playing today, but just interesting that Obi Toppin is questionable. What? Obi Toppin's coming back?
He's playing.
He's in? Obi Toppin's in? What? Did they realize they're tanking? Did they not get the memo? Okay. He'll likely have his minutes restricted for the rest of the season. Yeah, of course. That's not surprising. Okay. Yeah, that's the update. Obi Toppin is officially in. All right. I thought he'd be just chilling there on the injury report for a bit. We never really know until the end, until these games, are close to starting, about the G League guys. Peter and Thompson and Jackson. All 3 of those guys are questionable. They only have, they're 2-way contracts. You only have so many games to manage. there's more games left and they have games they're allowed to play. So they're just kind of picking and choosing when these guys are allowed to play. Naismith is out. We're just going to stay tuned on that. But that is shocking. I'm very surprised that Toppin's playing today. Pascal Siakam officially doubtful. He ain't playing. He's too good. And the Hornets are fully healthy. Saloon is out. But do we care? Not really. Bobby? Indiana? Charlotte? What do you got?
Yeah, so if Nembhard's out, I think it's a bump to Jarace Walker. Jarace Walker's a very average player. He seems to be the biggest beneficiary of the Pacers just tanking night in and night out at this point. So I think he's fine. Andrew Nembhard, if he was playing, I would consider, but he is priced up at $7K, so that isn't the greatest. And then these Hornets, like I think Brandon Miller and LaMelo are the two that probably pique my interest the most. The issue being that a lot of these guys are pretty priced up. Like I like Knipple, but LaMelo, it'd be max one. I like LaMelo, Knipple, Brandon Miller for me on the Hornet side. I don't love any of them. I don't know where you're at, but yeah.
I don't love anybody either. I think Miller's pretty good. I think Miller's a good cash game play, especially on FanDuel. But I just don't really love this game in general, in part because like we don't know how many players for the Pacers are going to get ruled out eventually. Like they're going to get a couple more, almost definitely, right? At least one of those G League guys almost definitely doesn't play. Jackson, Peter, Thompson. I would say there's a pretty good chance Nembhard doesn't play as well. They might get chopped down to 10. We'll see. Stay tuned. Charlotte's just pretty healthy and their prices are pretty full. They're not playing LaMelo enough and the price is up. He's great, but if he's not going to play 32 minutes, it's just hard to get there. It's just hard to pay that salary off as far as I'm concerned. Ownership-wise, you mentioned Walker. He's up to 6'9" now. And I do agree. I don't think he's very good. He just, he's just one of their better players and he's willing to take some usage. And, he's just good enough. He's good for fantasy. Like Bagley's good for fantasy. We'll talk about him soon enough. There's a reason why he's been on like 5 different teams in the last 3 years, in part mostly because his defense is horrendous. But yeah, I don't really like this game. I feel like I should like it more. And it sounds like you're right there with me.
There is one. Miles Bridges at 6'1", I think is relatively like interesting. Like I'd probably go to him ahead of Knipple, just because Knipple, you're pretty much saving 1,300. That's more of a tournament play, but that's the one other I wanted to add.
Yeah. I did want to see the difference as far as FanDuel. I mentioned the price. Yeah, so Miller is 7.8 on FanDuel. He's coming in at 31% as far as ownership. Yeah, I see him over there as being a pretty strong play. Walker's 7.2 at 25%. I don't know if I love that. His role is pretty solid because I don't know how much he's helping them necessarily win. We just got Nembhard and Pascal ruled out, by the way. Pascal, not a surprise.
Nembhard is in. Will play.
I read that wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that kind of mucks stuff up. That makes the Pacers less interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably not playing any Pacers now.
And Pascal, we were already, projecting out because he ain't playing. Rockets, Magic. I think this is my least favorite game on the slates. Amen Thompson's back. He's off the injury report. It probably was kind of nothing, and then they were home to was it Sacramento yesterday? They're like 15-point favorites. He's probably just gave him a day. Whatever it wasn't very significant. He's not an injury report. So nothing of note for Houston that's new. It's just the old stuff. Adams and FVV. Orlando, Jalen Suggs is questionable, and Franz Wagner is out with his ankle, but this stuff is, also kind of been, that's just the way it's been. De Silva will be the benefactor if Suggs is out, but not necessarily somebody I'm particularly interested in. I don't like this game. I don't like this environment. It's just can you talk to me and anybody in Houston and Orlando? 215.5 total. I'm just not enthused.
I can tell you I got this situation so wrong last night. I went Kevin Durant over Sengun. It was pretty an abysmal choice. Yeah, on the back-to-back, like they Houston blew out last night, so Kevin Durant really didn't play in the fourth quarter. Sengun pretty much smashed everywhere. I think those would be the only two players that I'm considering, and very minimal and large field stuff. Yeah, probably prefer Sengun to Durant.
I'm not here to pat myself on the back, Bobby. Or anything,
You played Sengun, and he was your plums play, and yeah.
Well, I not only that, I told you to bet triple double Sengun. I told you that 9-1.
I couldn't listen to the whole show, Dean. I was like,
I'm just telling you. I told everybody it was why. It wasn't a big secret. I told everybody was watching.
Sengun, yeah, I was pretty upset with myself because I don't know. I just didn't think it through enough. And
I also said the ladder, the assists. By the way, they jobbed him on an assist too. It should have got to 12, but I'm not too upset about that. Yeah, but tonight, different night, different setup. This game is just not terribly appealing for me. Ownership-wise, it's not going to be there. The most popular player currently right now is Banchero at 3% on DK. Even if Suggs doesn't play, I'm still not excited about Orlando. It's just this game exists, but it's in a forest. I don't know if it's making a sound or not. It's not making a sound for me because I cannot imagine I don't make a bunch of lineups. I cannot imagine I'm playing anybody from this game.
Banchero would be the only one from Orlando. I'm currently getting very little. So yeah.
Checking out the live stream chat, Bobby. No winners in 2 as far as today's game. It is not Blake Griffin. I understand why you're saying Blake Griffin. Or Caitlin Clark, or Rafael Nadal, or Sue Bird.
It's still not Jack Hughes.
It's still not Jack Hughes. You think it changes every clue? That'd be a totally different game.
It's the easiest one. Let's make it easy on the people. Do one about Jack Hughes, the golden goal.
It's not Pete Weber either, Bobby. You know Pete Weber?
No idea.
Who do you think
Chris
you are?
Weber. Time out.
What? No, that's Chris Weber.
I said I know Chris Weber.
You don't know who do you think you are? I am.
Oh, that's who that is, Pete Weber.
You don't remember that image?
I don't understand that. I'm too autistic.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know if it made it. I don't think there's a way to like break it down.
He's the bowler, right? He's the bowler.
Yeah, he's actually over my shoulder right now.
Yeah,
it's a coincidence. That's why I brought it up. I think it's the 16-year anniversary that that went down, that famous quote. But I don't think it made any sense. It was just his trash talking in the moment. That's when he won a tournament. Not Connor Hellebuck or Trae Young or LeBron James or Tony Parker or Asa Wilson or Alex Ovechkin. But the third clue is scrolling. It is Apple. Maybe that changes things. Apple is the third clue. Get in that Discord channel. Tell me what fleet we're talking about. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. San Antonio, the Spurs. The Spurs taking on Brooklyn. Spurs are on the back end, and Brooklyn's on the front end. And San Antonio does have some notable potential injuries. Stephen Castle, he's got a hip, so he's questionable. And big body Keldon Johnson, specifically his shoulder, is a little dicey, so he is questionable. As far as Brooklyn, they're just fine. Like, there's nothing new. It's just the same terrible team. Everybody's healthy. That's of note. Josh Minot's available, but I don't know if we've seen Josh Minot do things yet for Brooklyn. Yeah, Spurs, Nets. This to me is another game that's kind of a snoozer. I think we have a net then set up for Steph Castle if he doesn't go, especially if both Castle and Johnson don't go. Then all of a sudden, yeah, like Dylan Harper would be an interesting value play. We get a little bit more Fox. Carter Bryant might be a cheapie that could be somewhat of note. How do you feel about the Spurs and the Nets?
Yeah, Dylan Harper would definitely stand out. I think Fox too as well. Haven't played much De'Aaron Fox pretty much all year, but
me either.
Somewhat interesting. Victor Wembanyama. I worry about the back-to-back with Big Vic tonight. I think I'd rather go elsewhere. Probably get to Luka, some LeBron, Maxey, those guys in particular. But obviously, Wemby, I think he blocked a guy without jumping twice the other night. So
yeah, he does that.
He's kind of a tough fade, usually. But if this game blows out or they're on the back-to-back, what's the spread? Yeah, it's a 10-point spread, almost 11. So yeah, I don't really love Wemby as a stud tonight. On the Nets side, I think there isn't really much I love about the Nets.
No.
It's really tough on the Nets side. Like Michael Porter Jr. is fine. This game might blow out, so you probably want to run that back in some way. Same with Noah Clowney. I don't love. I'd prefer Porter if I was picking between the two of them. Claxton and Demon. I think they're guys you can consider in larger field stuff. Is Claxton Q tagged? Why do I think that in my head for some reason?
He was recently, like a couple, like maybe 4 or 5 days ago or so, but no, he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dylan Harper would probably be, I think, the strongest play in my opinion. Yeah. So I think I like him the most in this game.
So our current Harper projection is not amazing. They're about 23 DK fantasy points in 25 minutes as a median projection. But if we lose Castle and Keldon, then all of a sudden we're projecting 29 minutes and 29 DK, 29 FanDuel as a median, and that plays pretty good. That plays pretty solid. So keep an eye on that. And I think he's like playable too, just like as is in like large field stuff. But really, it's just because this is the game we're talking about. I'm not really going out of my way to take Dylan Harper. Like I said, this game mostly for me, uneventful. Wemby's been playing more minutes of late. We played that 36 minutes against Detroit, 30 versus Toronto. That was a close game too, but he wasn't good in that game. He had those blocks and good for him, but 3 for 12, just making 3 field goals. Struggled from outside, 1 for 6, but certainly he has the ability to break the slate. Wouldn't be shocking, but I don't expect to be there tonight, so I'm hopeful that that's not going to happen.
There's no way he comes in at 3% owned, by the way.
What do you think he's going to be?
8 to 10.
I think if we get Klingon playing, I think it's because Klingon's going to take a fair bit of ownership, and then Bagley's just center only, and he's just hard not to play. So, like those two guys might take up a lot of the center stuff. So yeah. I'm not saying that it might be 8. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be very high. And I think you're playing Embiid before you play Wemby. So if you're spending up to be different, your first stop is Embiid, is it not?
I think it would be Embiid, yep.
And like Şengün's not going to get played. Like he's in a similar bucket as Wemby. Şengün, like 2%. Just, not the spot for him necessarily there. Okongwu, it looks good, and we'll talk about him in a second. And he can get better if you lose a couple more pieces on Atlanta, taking on Washington. That's kind of the guy in the mid-tier, the stop in between before we go all the way up. We'll talk about Atlanta here in a second. Discord channel. Let's see. Do we have any winners? I don't think so. It's not Mac McClung or Katz or Kevin Durant or Jalen Brunson or Eli Manning. It's not Donovan McNabb or Michael Penix.
These clues are like way too difficult. I feel bad for chat.
You think these clues are bad?
Yeah. They're hard.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe, you know what? I'll give you a 4th clue. Let's give the people a 4th clue. And maybe that'll change things. Maybe all of a sudden somebody will be on top of it. 4th clue for Fleet Thursday. Again, week 3 of RG Premium is up for grabs. Orange. Orange is the 4th clue. Apple, orange, Kia, chicken. A lot of
Carmelo Anthony.
It might be. You never know. It just might be. A lot of edible options there. A lot of edible clues. I did talk about Atlanta. We should scoot along and talk about Atlanta because Atlanta's taking on the Wizards. They are big boy favorites despite they're without Jalen Johnson. 235.5 is the total. Atlanta is a 12-point favorite. Again, no Jalen Johnson. However, more might be coming because Alexander Walker's questionable. He's got a foot, so he might not play. And Ricochet, he's got a hip, so he's questionable as well. The Wizards, George is ruled out. Sarr is ruled out. Vukcevic is available with his hip. And, the guys that are good aren't going to play anytime soon or possibly at all the rest of the season. And Trae Young. No revenge for Trae Young, unfortunately. Maybe you can wave to the fans. And then there's Anthony Davis, who I don't think he's playing the rest of the year as well. How do we feel about the Hawks here? They project pretty good, and they can get better. We are projecting Gay to start and not Kuminga. Kuminga was spectacular in his debut for Atlanta, who in part benefited from Jalen Johnson not playing, but I still think he's a phenomenal play. They can get even better, but of course the ownership will be there if we happen to lose some pieces for, with Nah and Ricochet questionable. Atlanta, Washington, what do you got, Bobby?
Yeah, so for me, I think I'm going to go against the trend today. Dyson Daniels and Kuminga, I think, are great plays. The guy I'm kind of keying in on, well, they're great plays if Alexander Walker and Ricochet are out, obviously. The guy I'm kind of keying in on is CJ McCollum. I know you hate CJ McCollum. He just scores points. He's been all right. It's not the greatest defensive matchup, right? Versus Washington. So I think like there's some leeway for him to get there. Kuminga in his first game, as everyone kind of knows, he was fantastic. Almost got me over the hump the other night. He's played very well.
You played him. He was in your pool. I didn't have him.
I had 6% of him. I was winning everything. Yeah.
Oh.
And then it fell out. Dyson Daniels, I would definitely have interest in at 6,400. But I think both Kuminga and Daniels would fall behind McCollum. I think all three are good plays. Who else? Okongwu, I think you'd have to consider as well.
Mm-hmm.
Center is a loaded position, and he's at 7,700, so I think he falls behind mainly all of those guys.
Is Gay in your pool? You got Gay in the pool?
I have Gay in the pool, 3,600. I would prefer him to Okongwu. I have 11% of both, but if I had to choose, I'd pick Gay over Okongwu for the price tag and just needing to beat these value centers. So, yeah, it's mainly the Atlanta guys. On Washington, there isn't a ton that I can say I'm really interested in. Tristan Vucevic, 5,100. He's going to get minutes. I think that's fine for tournaments. Will Riley stinks. He's 5K, but I think he's fine for large field stuff. And same thing with Anthony Gill. There isn't a ton on the Washington side I really have interest in. Mainly, the majority of these guys that I'd have the most interest in are Hawks.
If I counted correctly, we have 9 players on Washington projected to play between 21 and 28 minutes. And then we have 2 more, Hardy at 18 and Leaky Black at 4. It's similar to Memphis, and it's not as extreme.
Yesterday, it is very similar to Memphis.
10 players, and I think they all played between 21 and 27 minutes. That's what they were projected to do, basically. And that's what some of these teams are doing now. They're just nobody gets any run, nobody gets any burn. If you play too good, you're going to get kicked out. You mentioned Vucevic is going to play minutes 22. Is that enough? Probably not.
I don't think it's enough, but in tournaments, he's fine.
And I want to know
larger field stuff.
Our if then, Bobby, is Nah and Ricochet out. We don't have individually. They just can't do everything, obviously, and it's possible one plays and the other one doesn't. But if both those guys are out, if Nah and Ricochet are
out. Nah is out. We just got the news.
Oh, okay. So here come the Hawks.
Ricochet available to play.
Okay. So we'll get that. Yeah, that's good to know. All right. So Ricochet, man, I wish it was the other way around. I really like Nah. But okay, that's going to change things for sure. McCollum's going to handle the ball a lot.
I like CJ. CJ is my favorite play from the Hawks.
And
what about Daniels? You hate him. I know you don't like him. Daniels is right there, but I think CJ is a lot cheaper, right? I would imagine 6,800. Where's Daniels' price?
No. I think Daniels.
No, Dyson Daniels is 6,400. Sorry, I would rather see more CJ than Daniels. Still,
Kuminga is going to look really good. Daniels is going to look really good. CJ is going to look strong. I'm curious to see where our projections end up, but I would have at least one Hawk in every lineup, possibly 2. We'll see. And I don't think I'm going to have a run back on Washington. I don't make a ton of lineups, so it's very easy to me to get to get to at least one Hawk. And again, Kuminga, I don't know who's gonna start. Well, Ricochet might start, right? Is that what it's going to be? Is it going to be McCollum, Daniels, Ricochet, Gay, Okungwu, and then Kuminga is the sixth man? I see Don Yeezy saying Kuminga 100% starting now. I wouldn't say 100% starting now. He might start, but I wouldn't say 100%. Something to keep an eye. Yeah, I'm still fine with Kuminga if he's not starting, to be clear. But yeah, this will be interesting. I'm going to curious to see where our projections land, because Na was going to get a lot of usage. He was playing 32 minutes. We're probably going to bump up Kuminga to 28 or so, maybe 29, my guess. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll circle back and see what the projections say about Atlanta, but rest assured they're going to look good. They're going to look good. The projections are going to look better. Anything else as far as Atlanta and the Wizards before we circle back and kind of give the update on our projections?
No, that's pretty much it.
Other news we got, Suggs is in, so that makes Orlando, they were already kind of worthless to me, so they're even more worthless to me. Powell and Mitchell, their updates for Miami are no updates, no surprise. Game time decision for those two, keeping an eye on that. That is a 7:30 game, I think. Is it 7:30? No, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll know it. If we don't know it, crunch time, we'll know it. Hey, hit the like button, YouTube. Have we asked? Have we begged? Have we groveled just yet for the like? I don't think we have. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Crunch time coming in about a half an hour or so. You got us for another hour and 15 minutes, all the way up to lock. The next game is another one where it's kind of dicey. We don't have all the clarity we'd like. The Blazers are in Chicago. 234.5 is the total. The Blazers are 5-point favorites. By the way, I gave it a Google. Wade Boggs went in the Hall of Fame as a Red Sox, but I think Tampa tried to get him to wear.
I remember that story.
Yeah,
I remember hearing that story. So.
They didn't offer him enough money, apparently. So Portland's, because he played for Tampa for a couple of years with Jose Canseco. And Greg Vaughn, maybe? 234.5 is the total. Portland and Chicago. Portland is a 5-point favorite. Who's in, who's out? Well, the big one, the midday downgrade for the big man, Donovan Clingan, 7'2". He's got girth too. He's got 7 inches on Gershon Yabusele, the opposing center here for Chicago. Denny Avdia, the big deal here. He's currently out here with his back. Shaden Sharp, just forget the name, at least for this year. I think he's not playing for the rest of the season, at least for the foreseeable future, but probably done for the year. And then Robert Williams, Time Lord. He's also questionable, so your backup 5 may not be available. We've seen Clingan play, I think he played 36 minutes last game. Don't expect that. That was a game where there was no Robert Williams, but I wouldn't assume 36. There's a need 36, but it was good to see he can get there in theory. Chicago, Zach Collins is done for the year. Jaden Ivey's still out. Simons is still out. We mentioned Jalen Smith. He was kind of an undersized 5. Patrick Williams, another big, is not playing. So this is why Chicago, they got to start Yabusele. Bazelis, it's kind of a small 4 in my head. At least I feel like he's a small 4. I guess he's a standard size 4. But yeah, Giddey, Trey Jones, Okoro, and Bazelis. Love Clingan. I think he can do so much damage against this Bulls team. Like, he scores inside. This Bulls team gives up points in the paint. He's a great rebounder. This Bulls team is bad at rebounding. He can hit threes. This Bulls team is bad at suppressing threes. It really is a perfect setup for Clingan, except for maybe he's not feeling so great because he had the fish. Blazers, Bulls, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm expecting with the midday downgrade that Clingan likely sits. I really liked Robert Williams, but the fact that he's questionable, probably not going to really go. If he's in, I'd definitely have a lot of him, but if he's not in, then probably not having any as well. The only way I'd have any anyway would be if Clingan sat. Scoot and Drew seem like the 2 guys from Portland I think we can definitely get to here. I think I prefer Drew because he's starting, but Scoot's still going to play 30 minutes off the bench. He's 5'5". I think they're both super strong plays. Those would be my favorite Portland guys. Larger field stuff, you can get to Kamara, you can get to Chris Murray. Jeremy Grant, I'd also include. Jeremy Grant would fall behind Scoot and Drew, but I'd be willing to play him in some smaller field stuff if Klingon were to sit. On the Chicago side, it's mainly Mattis Buzelis. He's like my favorite play. Play him in small field stuff. I actually really like Buzelis tonight. 6,300 for Buzelis. You mentioned Gershon at 4,900 power forward center eligibility. I don't hate that. I think he's fine.
He's got to play a lot, I think.
Yeah, he's going to play a lot. Nick Richards would come ahead of Yabusele for me, though. 4K for Nick Richards. This is how you kind of get up to Luka, right? All these value centers. So
you got Richards ahead of Yabusele, you said?
I get Richards ahead of Yabusele. I know Yabu's going to play power forward center, but he's also 900 more. Then it's mainly larger field tournament stuff. You can go to Giddy. I think you play Dillingham in some smaller field stuff. I like Dillingham 3.9. What's he, point guard only? Still like Dillingham a good bit. So
point guard, shooting guard on FanDuel.
Yeah, the main guys for me are Scoot, Drew, Nick Richards, and Buzelis, followed by Jeremy Grant. If Klingon were to play, I'd be trying to get as much Klingon as possible, but I just don't think he plays at this point.
The general track record of midday downgrades due to illness is probably not great.
Yeah.
And, I just don't want him to play 20 minutes because he's gutting it out. That's the worst scenario. And you don't know that until the game starts, right? You don't know how he actually feels. That's the worst scenario. But he also has got to realize this matchup is salivating, right? He's been on a bit of a tear of late. Over 50 fantasy points in 3 of his last 7 games. I don't know why I say starts. It's the same thing. Ownership's going to be there is the thing. You mentioned Drew Holiday. 50% we're currently showing on FanDuel. Now, FanDuel's a smaller slate. We don't have the last 2 games, which are on DK, which we'll talk about soon enough. Buzelis 40% on FanDuel. Granted 26%. I like him distinctly more. He's probably not going to make my main lineup right now, but if we lose, Klingon, I think Grant gets a nice boost on the inside. I would imagine he's one of the bigger benefactors, especially if Williams is out. We don't know about that. We're kind of in the dark on that also, kind of waiting for more news to come on through. Nothing else coming through. I'm kind of trying to see if any sort of notifications are popping up. On DK, Bobby, we got 48% for Drew Holiday, which is such a big number. But again, the matchup and the role is really, really solid. Buzelis 34%, Klingon 22%. Scoot, the minutes limit is basically off, 29 minutes, 17%. And Grant currently at 13%. I think that would jump, obviously, if we lose Klingon. Somebody in chat asked about Giddy. We're giving him 28 minutes. He's on that minutes limit, slowly progressing up, I guess.
7,300, and that's the thing. I'm not a guy on a minutes limit. Yeah.
So what have the minutes been? Since coming back, he's played 21, 27, 23. That was a close game. 26. That was a blowout, which is kind of weird. He played 26 in the blowout and 23 in a close game versus New York. He's also not been good, which is, I think, of notes. It's maybe he's just playing through something. He's been bad. He's been very bad, with the exception of he was pretty good against Detroit, but he was horrendous against Charlotte. He was horrendous against New York, and just brutal against Toronto. All 3 of those games, 5, 6, and 8 as far as the points in the bucket. Not good. And doing some quick math, 6 for 28 from the field. I think that's bad, right, Bobby? 6 for 28? That seems bad.
That's bad. Someone said City Sissoko, power forward center, 3,600 if Klingon's out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how much. Again, I just think the game is he'll get some run, sure. I just don't know if that might be fool's gold. I'm not sure though. I don't have a good take on it.
I don't have a good take either.
Yeah, I wish I had a better take, but right now I don't necessarily feel like it's a lock and load. But maybe if Klingon and Williams are out, maybe. I don't know. But a lot of this is just sort of a influx, I suppose. Give me your favorite player in this game on both sides.
Mattis Buzelis would be my favorite. And if Klingon played, it would be Klingon, obviously, but Mattis.
Yeah. And I don't think Hansen's going to get any run, right? I don't think so well, I guess it's possible if things – I was looking like even deeper for Portland if all the bigs are out. But I don't think we're going to need that. But again, we'll see how that works out with the Portland news and 8 o'clock game. When will we get it? Maybe we get it at 6:30. Maybe we get it at some point in the middle of the slate. But this is the one, like you said before the show, Bobby. You're talking about you're gonna have your nose in your laptop all night. This is the game that might get you in trouble. Waiting for Portland news because we don't know when we're gonna get it, but I think it's super important, obviously. All right. If you're talking, you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you are talking.
I'm not talking, Dean. I'm not. Okay. I'm reading the chat. Miles Bridges, 15 points. Someone's watching behind.
I thought you froze up on me. I was looking at you. You weren't moving.
I feel like I froze. I was just 305 watching, Dean. Wow.
We gotta get some more likes though, which is the issue. That's how I'm told that's how the math and the algorithm works.
I can't believe 305 people are tuning in to listen to Dean Shavelson 15 years in.
Well, to be fair, 303 are listening for Bobby Gomes, and there's 2 are like,
that isn't true. That isn't. They're not listening for me at all.
Oh, we didn't get the 5th clue, by the way. The 5th clue for Fleet Thursday, which, by the way, we had a winner. We'll talk about that soon enough. But the 5th clue, for those that are still playing up the string for fun, is calm. Chicken, Kia, apple, orange, and calm. That is your 5 clues. And I want to remember, you said the clues stink, right? You have that on record? You said that the clues were terrible?
I've never been a fan of your clues because I'm a man of the people, and I think they're very difficult, personally, but that's just me, Dean. It's just me.
What if I tell you, I'm going to make it awkward, these weren't my clues? Producer Steve felt ambitious, and he said, you know what? I'm going to make my own Fleet Thursday. So these are Steve's clues. You're saying Steve stinks. How about that?
I like Steve. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks. So if you want to meet up and hang out, let me know. But you'll probably not blow me off again.
It's a big state.
15 minutes for me. We should go to a Panthers game.
Oh, there you go. You love your hockey.
Yeah. We could go see Matthew Kachuk.
There you go. Yeah. They're not going to.
I'll get the tickets, Dean. Don't worry about it.
No, that's not what I was thinking about. You think that was what? Oh, well, I don't want to spend the $30.
That's what I was thinking immediately when you just.
Then I got to buy you a drink, and it's all going to even out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Evens out. Yes.
We had a winner, and by the way, funny enough, you were correct. It was Carmelo Anthony. You ruined the game. You ruined the game for the people, Bobby. You won the game.
Bobby, you were actually the first one to get it.
And no one guessed my guess because
no, they guessed your guess right after you
never got it right once. Never got it right once.
Well, you did. There you go.
So I just saw something on Instagram. Is anything going on with Carmelo Anthony? Because he was the. No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Steve would know. I don't
know.
It was like a tribute to Carmelo or something. I don't know. No idea.
The last game on the FanDuel slate, we'll talk about the 2 DK games as well in a second here. Sacramento.
By the way, Carmelo Anthony was not as good as Paul Pierce.
Okay. No, I think you're probably right in that one. You can make a poll, but Steve can make a poll, but I think you're right in that one. I think Pierce was better. But you've always said that D Wade is not as good as Paul Pierce.
No, not even close. No.
That's always been your bad take. Maybe Pierce is a better statue of him in the wheelchair. That's they should do a statue of him in the wheelchair up in Boston. The Kings are playing the Mavs. 234.5 is the total. Dallas, despite their best efforts, like when the Mavericks are 8-point favorites, like how is that possible? Well, because the Kings are really down bad. They're just so terrible. DeAndre Hunter still has that eye. Malik Monk is questionable, right? Did we get an update on that?
Good. He torched me the other night. Good.
Keegan Murray is out. Domantas Sabonis is out for the season. Westbrook is out. Cardwell is out. We're still giving Monk a current questionable tag. Dallas, now they're gonna. It's a hard game to not. How do you not win this game by accident? But yeah, they're not playing flag. Gafford is officially doubtful, which is a big deal when you compound that with Lively being out. Middleton's available with his shoulder. Nembhard is officially doubtful. PJ Washington, he is out. So this clears the way, right? Marvin Bagley revenge here against the Kings. He projects awesome. What's that?
I said great.
There's other bigs behind him. Musa Cisse might be available. According to the injury report, we have him as he's probable. He's actually going to be in the building. And there's Dwight Powell. But you got to assume that Bagley gets first crack and he gets 25 plus minutes unless something weird happens. He's their best fantasy point per minute player, still standing. The Kings, one of the worst defenses in all of basketball. They're even worse without Sabonis. Maxime Renaud is one of the worst defending centers in the league. So the matchup is really, really good for Bagley. We're expecting Carter to start for the Kings, for what it's worth. We have him at 11 players, possibly 10 if we lose Monk. That's where we're at as far as the Kings. What do you got? Sacramento and Dallas. I know Christie projects pretty well. Not a very sexy play, but a good point per dollar play. Might have changed a little bit with the Atlanta news coming on through. You tell me, how you feeling about the Mavs and the Kings?
I currently have a big Dallas lean. Marvin Bagley, obviously, just because the path is clear. I feel like this one's going to not be the greatest play at the end of the night, but I'm playing it because it seems like good chalk. Brandon Williams at 5,200. He's making my player pool. Like you said, Dallas should win this game. Chris Middleton, the corpse of Chris Middleton, we're playing him tonight as well. I don't love this Dallas shit. Najee Marshall, I think is
pricey.
What?
Little pricey, but he should be good.
He should be good. Okay. Max Christie, I think, like you said, those are mainly the Dallas guys. Like I don't love Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is 3,300, huh?
He earns that price tag.
He earns that price tag now. Yeah, never mind. No Tyus. On the Sacramento side, Devin Carter, he didn't even the other night. I don't think he played till the fourth quarter. He was 5K. I can't do that ever again. He's on the list, Kirkie's list there.
We're giving him 31 minutes.
49. What'd you say? We have Carter for 31 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to project minutes for Sacramento, but Westbrook's gone, so you got to figure the path is clear.
Yeah. I can't do it because I'm seeing ghosts, but yeah. 31 minutes is a good number, so I guess you can play him. Who else? Like, is Plowden playable?
Mr.
Maybe Plowden in Achua, maybe some Nick Clifford. I don't really love Sacramento. Maybe you have more on the Sacramento side, but I don't really love Sacramento.
Clifford should play 30 plus minutes. He's just not a great fantasy point minute player.
Yeah.
Not a big usage guy. I think Renault's kind of interesting. Bagley's a terrible defender too, and they will give Renault a chance sometimes to play 35 minutes, even in blowouts. He's good for our world. He's good. Both these guys are bad defenders, so it might be just gentleman's agreement. You let me score, I'll let you score, that kind of thing. And they both look pretty good out there.
I wouldn't let you score, Dean. I'd block you. It'd be like Wemby. I wouldn't even have to jump.
No gentleman's agreement?
No gentleman's agreement. No.
I have a little lefty baby hook that you couldn't block, I don't think. But
right.
But my basketball game, my basketball is so far behind. Yeah, it's not. I never was great at basketball. I had a few post moves.
You played in the gym after a workout sesh. That's what I feel like that's what you would have did.
I wasn't very good at basketball. Fundamentally I can pass the ball, whatever. I was never a good shooter. Wasn't my game. Anything else of note here? Did you mention Klay Thompson? You were talking about the corpse.
I mentioned him. I just don't love him. But like he's a lot of these Dallas guys. I think I'm going to end up having in my pool. But
Chat says everyone these guys criticize in their shows always ends up having great games. So does that mean?
I think he's right after my last two shows. To be honest. I'm not gonna disagree with that.
I kind of took a shot at Tyus Jones. Does that mean Tyus Jones is doing a big game? Like, let's put it to the test. You called Middleton a corpse in Klay Thompson. He can get a bunch of threes, I suppose, against Sacramento. It's hard to get excited. Christie's like the safe play, but is Max Christie really going to be a guy you absolutely need? I don't know. But like he's sort of like last man in. I guess he's fine, right? Have you ever said I'm looking for?
I think Najee's like the next best play after, probably Bagley and Brandon Williams from Dallas.
Are you going to be over the 50% on Bagley?
Not currently, because the way I build my teams, I wouldn't. He's definitely my highest owned Dallas guy. Highest owned guy I have is like 44%. Drew. Get a diversify, Dean.
Can they rug pull Precious, which is a weird question because like he's not very good, but we're giving him 27 minutes. He's shown flashes.
I was getting a lot of Precious earlier in the day, and now I'm not getting really any Precious.
Just look at the rest of this roster, though. It's like the bigs, Drew Eubanks, and that's it. Who else do they have that's big on this team? Like they could play Precious and kind of like at the 5 when Renault's not in there sometimes. It's more wings, and if they lose Monk, I guess they'll be a little short there as far as guards. You mentioned Plowden, he's a wing. Killian Hayes, who knows? There's no reason to play Devin Carter. Like, who knows how they figure those minutes out amongst those two? It's just a mess. Like Sacramento's just terrible roster, terrible team. Cannot wait for the season to end, and it's hard to trust what they're going to do. I don't even know what's right. Like, what are they supposed to do at this point? Because it's a lost season, and you're not developing half these players. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Pels and the Jazz. The Pels and the Jazz. This is DK only. High and tight, right? Fairly tight, especially for a Utah game. 244.5. That's the biggest total on the board. New Orleans, a 125 team total. There's 6-point favorites here in Utah. We mentioned that, Keontae George is not playing. Triple J is not playing. Lauri Markkanen, they gave him the fake MRI, fake injury. He's out. Nurkic has a nose, so he can't play for the rest of the season. Legitimate injury. Vince Williams legitimately hurt his knee. I think it was an ACL. He's done for the year. Bummer for him. New Orleans, Yves Missy's out. Trey Murphy's out. We saw DeJounte Murray start in his very first game back. He played like 24 minutes or so. So good for him. Closed too. I believe he closed. I remember him in the court like 2 or 3 minutes to go. So I'm pretty sure he closed that game. It's why John Jordan is starting games. I don't know, but that's happening. How are we feeling about the Pelicans and the Jazz?
Yeah, Jazz value looks good. Bryce Sensabaugh seems very strong. 5,700 shooting guard, small forward eligible. Say the same for John Conchar, small forward, power forward eligible, 3,700. I think Ace Bailey is my favorite, 6K. Ace I feel like he's a good draft pick for Utah. He's quietly having a pretty good year, I feel like. So I think Ace would probably be my favorite Utah guy in general, but I think the field would probably be more inclined to play Sensabaugh. I'm just going to call him Oscar Dean.
Yeah.
Can you say his last name for me? Can you pronounce that?
Shibwe.
Center position for Oscar Shibwe, 3K, Dean. Are we interested there? I'm interested a little bit.
I mean, you
Probably
talk about being – you
What?
mentioned being gun shy earlier in the year. I did get a DMP CD from Oscar Shibwe about a month or so earlier in the year, where it seemed like he was going to kind of sort of had to play like 15 or 20 minutes or so, and he's a pretty good fantasy point guard player. I'm not saying that's going to happen tonight. But I'm not getting there. I can't.
There is no one on this team that's going to be able to stop Zion tonight.
Correct.
Fair to say? That's
very fair to say. The only thing that would stop him is potentially the score, but it's only a 6-point game. And, Zion, I don't want to say minutes limit, but they just don't let him play too much, right?
He's lost weight, though. He's Ozempic Zion, right, or something?
Is he? I don't know if that's something. Is that something he's endorsing? I'm not aware of it.
I don't know. It'd be good for him to endorse, for sure.
He's played. Last I saw, he was endorsing Mountain Dew. That's the last thing I saw him endorsing.
Probably not good for him to endorse.
The check still gets cashed. We're projecting 33 minutes for Zion, which is a pretty good number. If you tell me
Herb Jones value, I don't hate Herb Jones.
It just comes down to stocks and threes, and that's kind of a variance spot. Like, he's not a big usage guy, but in theory, he's well positioned to get multiple stocks and multiple threes. And he'll pepper the box score with other stuff, but obviously he's not a big contributor to this team, fantasy wise. But he's a good defensive player, and Utah is not a good offensive team, and they're prone to mistakes. So I guess if you're going to play him, this is a spot to do it. It's just that, what is his ceiling, right? What is Herb Jones's ceiling? You're really
hit on Collier. Right?
What's that?
Did we hit on Collier?
Yeah, we're giving him 33 minutes. I think I'd rather play Filipowski.
See a good bit of minutes.
Yeah. He's 7'8", so he kind of has to see him.
Yeah.
They probably put Herb on him. Herb's a pretty good defender. Not saying you can't play him, but makes his life a little bit more difficult. I think Filipowski is interesting.
Yeah. Oscar.
It's Shibwe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tricky with the,
3K, Dean. 3K.
Well, yeah, but when he scores 9 points, it's like, okay, why did I do that? By the way, our poll in chat, according to our chat at least, 59% of people are saying Carmelo was better than Paul Pierce, which I'm with you, Bobby. I think
it's such a bad take. It's such a bad take.
But I just always thought Carmelo was just overrated in general, like throughout his entire career.
In Denver, he was great in the NCAA tournament when Syracuse won. I wanted like their first game. I was like,
okay, so he peaked at 20, 21.
He wasn't. He didn't. Pierce was, better than Carmelo.
TJ saying Paul Pierce is the better career. Carmelo was the better straight up basketball player at their peaks.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I would also say Pierce had a better longevity of like being elite, right?
Yeah, everyone forgets like how good Pierce was prior to KG and all those guys getting there too. So
Castle in for San Antonio, by the way. Castle is in. Did we get an update on Big Body Keldon Johnson? We did not, but that is not that Keldon matters so much now that Castle is in. Do you want to talk about the Lakers? The Lakers and the Sun, 223.5 is the total. Suns are 5-point dogs here versus the Lakers. Last game in the DK slate, not on the FanDuel slate. We do want to acknowledge it. You talked about Luka earlier in the show. Hachimura, he's out. He's ill. Not playing tonight. Bronny James in the G League. Jackson Hayes is available with his ankle. Phoenix, no Booker. He's got a hip. No Brooks. He's got a hand. No Jordan Goodwin. He's out with a calf, so they're certainly hurting when it comes to guards. We're expecting Gillespie and Jalen Green to play a fair bit. How you feeling about the Suns and the Lakers? You mentioned Luka. There's certainly ways to get him. We certainly have salary. It's not going to hinder your lineup tremendously. How you feeling about Luka as a spend up and just this game overall?
Yeah, I think Luka's probably my favorite spend on the slate. 11.4 is expensive, but we have the value to get him, so I think you just kind of get there. I think LeBron is also in play at 8,200. Those are my two favorites from this game. Austin Reeves, if you're playing larger field stuff, you can throw him in there. Jalen Green. I don't like Jalen Green at 6,900. Be more like another larger field tournament team for me. I'm only playing on, I think, 23 teams or something. So, yeah. This Rui news. How does the Rui news impact everything for you?
Not really that important. It doesn't really
I
matter.
don't really see anything that
I mean, Marcus Smart gets a bump. Who cares? Maybe Laravia gets a bump. Who cares? Yeah. Insignificant. Doesn't matter.
I guess Jalen Green and Gillespie would be my two Phoenix guys. 6,900 for Green.
We saw Green play 37 minutes a couple games ago, which is pretty interesting. And the last two games have been blowouts. Again, I mentioned before, Phoenix, 81 points, lost 97-81, and lost 92-77. Their last two games, their offense has been sputtering. And, Green's one of those guys that can shoot you into a game.
I guess I could get to Green in some smaller field stuff. Yeah.
His last four games, 18 shots, 16 shots, 26, 23.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely play some Green.
He's going to be firing. He has to be. And it's just, and we're only giving him, obviously he's had multiple injuries this year, 29 minutes. But again, we saw him play in a closer game, 37 minutes. Not 3 games ago. So I think there's a chance he plays more than that if this game is close. And the Lakers, kind of the theme of this show, bad defense. The 7 worst defensive teams are playing tonight. Pretty sure the Lakers are one of those, mathematically or according to the defensive rating for the season. But I would say the Lakers.
Do you think Luke is sick of LeBron?
Why would he be sick of LeBron?
I don't know. I feel like there's friction there.
I think they're trying to manufacture stuff just because that stuff gets clicks. But I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. I want to get your play.
If we were had a 1 million followers each,
yeah,
people would say that we didn't get along.
Well, that's the whole point. Yeah. People would read because people would click on it. Like, oh my God, what's happening behind the scenes? It'd be interesting. But it's not. There's really nothing there. We don't have 1 million followers, so nobody's fabricating anything. I want your plums play, but I also want, I don't know, Steve, you want to tell the people how we got on today's Fleet Thursday? You built the clues. We got a winner in Discord channel. We gave out a week free of RG Premium to Double M Squared. Steve cannot. Okay, he's not going to, I guess he's multitasking. He's bringing in crunch time right now. So bad job by calling this up right now, but his clues were, did I have them written down here someplace? I know I got them written down here. Or the chicken, Kia, apple, orange, calm, mellow. Again, these are Steve's clues, but I understand what he was doing here. Chicken was in reference to, oh man, I can't remember what chicken was in reference to. Kia was car. Oh yeah. This when I guessed it before the show, chicken was in reference to chicken nuggets, and he played for the Denver Nuggets. So. I don't know how that worked for you, Bobby, but you got there. Apple, of course, he played in the Big Apple. Orange, Syracuse orange, New York had orange, and even Denver, the Denver Nuggets. At least did he ever wear the old school Denver skyline? Some orange in that.
I think my brother had that jersey when jerseys were a thing to buy.
That was a sweet jersey,
but it was like the throwback too.
I picture.
It wasn't a good jersey.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is the guy that I picture. I don't know wearing that. If I
Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
No.
You're thinking of it wasn't that one. I know the one you're talking about, but
Chris Jackson became Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He played for Denver.
For Denver, he was good, right? Like the Steph Curry before Steph Curry's.
Yes, he was excellent from outside. Okay, I need plums. Who was your plums play, Bobby?
Plums play. Mattis Buzelis is my plums play. Is that okay, Dean, with you? Are you fine with that?
Yeah, it's a little chalky. If you're really going to ask me to critique, it's a little bit chalky. I was expecting.
All right. You want another one, Dean? You're going to do this to me?
Well, you asked me. I wasn't going to, but then you prompted me. So now I feel like I need to say something.
I'm trying to.
Well, this is what you said. This is your fault.
I'm going to go Ace Bailey.
Oh, okay. We got TJ and Kirkwood coming in here in just a second. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's bring in crunch time right now. I thought we have Kirkwood. Do we not have Kirkwood? Is he not coming in? Do I not see him? I don't see him. TJ, how are you?
Doing pretty well. Had a really good day today and have some fun stuff coming up. Life is pretty good.
You just recently watched like all of Game of Thrones in like a week or something. How long did it take?
The last time I've been since the last time we've seen each other on a show, I've been to the entirety of Game of Thrones.
The new GOT was pretty good.
A Night of the Seven Kings was really good. That's actually what drove me to do it. Is I was sick in bed, like couldn't do anything, and I had screeners for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, so I decided to watch the whole series. Really liked it, and then
Wait, you've never seen it?
And I had never seen Game of Thrones.
I feel like that would be something you would have already watched.
Right, and it was just like I never really got around to it. I was planning.
How did you like the last season? It was very bad in my opinion, but
I was planning on it. Then everybody was so disappointed by the end that I just never had the motivation. But I was sick. I didn't have a lot going on. I had the little extra reason to do it. I was just in the world after watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So yeah, in 2 weeks I watched all of Game of Thrones.
So like you're watching like 7-8 hours a day of Game of Thrones. That's wild. That's a lot, man. It's because a lot happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't have much going on. Like it was a pretty chill stretch, Agents of Fandom wise, and then we were kind of it was NBA All-Star break, and then when there's only one sport going on, there wasn't a lot happening, and so I was alone in my house. My wife was at work, and my baby was at daycare. I was sick for a lot of it, so I went in.
Oh, you still let the baby watch too. You got to expose the kids early. She's
getting a little too old. She's getting a little too old where she actually knows what's going on the screen now. So we gotta be careful of it.
Kirkwood, unbiased opinion: Carmelo Anthony or Paul Pierce?
It's not even close. It's Paul Pierce.
It really isn't close.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of close, but I actually agree with you guys. I agree it's Paul Pierce. Our chat disagrees slightly. They got
because they all like see all the clips of Paul doing stupid stuff on ESPN and yeah.
I think it depends the specificity of the question. Is it who had the better career, who was better for longer? Both of those are Pierce. Like Pierce had a longer prime, and even after his prime, I think he was better for longer. Like even as he was descending, he was more valuable than Melo was. But I would say like at their very peaks, who was the better straight up basketball player? Melo. It just didn't.
When do you think Pierce's peak was though? That's what I would argue.
Like 3 to 4 years pre-championship, pre-Garnett and Allen.
Like Pierce didn't look as athletic as him, or anything like that. But
he had bounced when he was young.
He was just incredible. I mean, I knew Pierce when he played at Kansas. Like I was watching, but he's a winner. What did Melo win?
Someone said in chat, put Melo with KG and Allen, and he'd have a chip too. Pierce took them to the Eastern Conference Finals with literally no one versus the Nets. Literally no one. Like in 2001, I would say that was his prime.
All right, we'll have to table this for another day because myself and Bobby, we got to step aside and get out of here and make way for.
You know what? Well, Antoine Walker is greater than Carmelo Anthony.
That's not true. You're going too far on that one. That was Bobby. I was Dean. Hit the like button. TJ, it's all yours.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to NBA Crunch Time. We got a pretty fun slate ahead of us. 9 games here. Lots of injury news that I guess most of the injury news I think we've gotten, but there is still some that we are waiting on. and a lot of expensive pay up options, a lot of cheap value for us to go to. Pretty exciting slate. I'm TJ Zwarych. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not done so already. Kirkdiese joining me. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. The missus is a little upset at me because our son was screaming, and so I was like, he can't do this tonight, and so she just left and took him to like McDonald's or something. Who knows where she's taking him, but she's not happy. Other than that, I'm doing fine. Kind of an interesting slate. I've been watching it, going through it all day, doing tags and whatnot, but I don't like the fact that how FanDuel and DK are on different wavelengths for tonight. But I actually do like the slate better on DraftKings.
It's a fun one. I'm looking forward to diving into it. We got some expensive guys. We got Luka, we got Wemby, and then a lot of cheap value with potentially a lot more coming because every single center for the Portland Trailblazers is listed as questionable today. So that's going to come in. That's going to be very, very important. I think my current strategy is like I'm playing 150 lineups. I'm going to fade the first 2 games if we don't get that Portland news. If we don't get that Portland news, I'm just going to cut this slate a little bit smaller, not play any Charlotte, Indiana, not play any Miami, Philadelphia, because although those totals are pretty juicy, we do have a lot of guys coming back healthy in this one. I would like to get to some Embiid. I would like to get to some Maxey and then some Charlotte pieces too. But I think that Portland news is important enough that if we don't get it before lock, I'm just not going to build my teams yet. I'm going to leave them blank and skip those first 2. How you planning on handling tonight?
Question for you. Are you talking DraftKings or FanDuel or both?
I'm playing 150 on DraftKings. I'm not playing any for FanDuel. Like my thought was fading the first 2 on DK.
Yeah, and so I'm playing FanDuel, and I was like, at first I was gonna fade it, but the problem is we don't have the studs that DraftKings has. So even if you do get like good more value, and there's plenty of value anyway. Some the 76 Maxey and Embiid could be well worth it tonight. I lean the Maxey side, but there's just not enough studs. I mean, there's Wemby, but like I look at Wemby and so did you watch the game at all against, I know you're watching Game of Thrones, but did you watch the game at all against the Pistons?
I did not.
Yeah, so basically it was like old school NBA. The refs were letting everything go. There was like bully ball. They were just giving it to Wemby first half. He ended up doing fine, but like I've never seen him on the ground so many times. And then last night he had a really tough game against the Raptors, which was a great game that they needed him to come from behind, and he looked tired in that game. And his shot was off, and I blamed that on basically the Pistons, the hangover from that. It wasn't a back-to-back, but it was just 2 days. And then now he's on a back-to-back. So it's I still might play him, but I fully expect to lose with that lineup if I do end up playing him, because I just think he's going to be tired. But we'll see how it goes.
The nice thing is it's not too tough to get overweight on him. Like we're only projecting 5-ish% ownership. It might get up to 10, might get up to 10, 15 max, but it's not going to be too tough to just get a sprinkle of them if you're playing a lot of lineups. But let's start
FanDuel.
Sorry?
I'm talking FanDuel over for Wemby.
Yeah, we still got him projected for 6% over there. I think it'll be a little higher than that.
I think it should be higher, but because there's just not anyone else.
15, it could get to that range, but even then, it's still not. If you're playing 5, get him in one of them, you can feel pretty good about it. Let's start going position by position. We will start on DraftKings. We'll go to FanDuel second. Maybe since you're playing FanDuel, I'm playing DraftKings. I can go a little bit longer talking about DK. You can go a little bit longer talking about FanDuel as we cruise through it. But I've looked at both. I'm sure you've looked at both as well.
Yeah.
And so crush through this. We'll take some QQs. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first. Going to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, make sure you are smashing that like button for us. DraftKings, point guard. Who do you like?
Well, we have to address right off the bat the Portland game. Denny Avdia is out with his basically 30% usage, which just leaves a ton of use up for grabs. Holiday should see a bunch of minutes, and he grades out as the best player. I actually like Scoot Henderson a little more. And the only reason, and he might not even start, he may start because we don't know what's happening with Klingon and any of their bigs. They may just go really small. But regardless, he's not on a minutes limit anymore. He'll probably going to see 30 minutes regardless. And I kind of lean in when we're now in this situation where there's always these landmines like we've been talking about from teams that are tanking and whatnot and injuries and all that stuff. I just tend to lean towards like the younger guys that they're developing. So like Scoot, I think they're pretty close, comparable plays to Holiday, and Holiday definitely looks better, but I think Scoot is my favorite of the two. From there, I mean, for Tyrese Maxey, decent spot against Miami, and it may get a little better if Davion Mitchell's out from a defensive matchup perspective. But the fact that they just play so fast and the Sixers give up tons of fantasy points too, like this could be a great game for fantasy. So I like Maxey. I have to mention CJ McCollum. He's a good play on DraftKings. He's a great play on FanDuel, in my opinion, with Nickeil Alexander-Walker out. Also Jalen Johnson out. And, people got burned by him the other night in the revenge matchup against Washington, but they're running it back now without two massive usage guys. So this CJ McCollum should have a really strong game here tonight. And then Luka, I think, is the top stud over on DK. And then from there, I'll just talk about two others. Brandon Williams, sure. I like him against Sacramento. I like pretty much anyone who gets minutes against Sacramento. And then DeJounte Murray is back. You're not seeing big minutes, but he's starting. He'll probably get a couple more this time, and it's against Utah, which this should be a really strong matchup to get him going. And I'll say my last one, the fade. Josh Giddey is going to get some ownership tonight, and I get it, but I think he's going to have Kamara on him, and Kamara just locks dudes down. So I don't want to touch Giddey at any kind of ownership tonight. But that's my point guard.
Makes sense. I think from a cash perspective, Drew Holiday, Brandon Williams, those are going to be the two guys that you're getting to. But I'm with you for tournaments. I think I like Scoot a little bit better than Drew Holiday, especially when considering ownership. I'm a big fan of Scoot for tournaments tonight. Luka, probably my favorite spend up as well, but I really like Isaiah Collier at 7,800. I think that's a really, really strong tournament play today. Like CJ McCollum as well. I'll throw in Colin Gillespie. I think he's a very strong play. Then if you need to go cheap, I do have Trey Jones in my pool, but that's just going to be a sprinkle. Quentin Grimes is in my pool. I'll probably play him more at shooting guard, but again, that's still just like a sprinkle, and I won't get there if we don't get this Portland news before lock. I'll take him out because I'm just not playing those games if we don't get that news. And then Rob Dillingham for like a super cheap punt, I think is viable as well. 23 and 24 minutes in his last two games, put up some solid fantasy games, and now they're in a nice matchup against Portland. So Dillingham, I like a fair amount. As we switch it over to shooting guard, you can play Brandon Williams here. I do think this is where you play him in cash games. Christie's cash viable as well, but I definitely prefer Brandon Williams. I think he's got a much higher ceiling. And then that whole range, I think, is pretty interesting for tournaments. Christie, Clifford, Sensabaugh, I think all of them are fine pivots off of Brandon Williams. But I do like going a little bit above it. Dyson Daniels, CJ McCollum. It's pretty gross position now that you really look at it. So I'd love to play some Con Knipple, but again, I'm still waiting on some Portland news before I figure out how to handle that game. What are you doing at shooting guard? Oh, you are muted.
I like CJ, obviously, again. My bad. I like Dyson Daniels. I talked him up the last time they played, and he had a pretty poor game. But, 30 fantasy points is okay, but for the price, it wasn't that great. It was only 24 minutes of play. Now with Alexander out and Jalen Johnson out, they're going to need more scoring from him. He's always a threat for the defensive stats. So he's probably my favorite play at shooting guard or small forward. Like you said, Brandon Williams, you could play. People are going to be playing Colin Sexton a lot tonight. I think he's fine. I just don't. I definitely would come in under for sure, and full fade I would even consider too as well. The guy I do like. I mean, this Suns lineup with Jalen Green is just chucking. Hasn't been efficient yet, but he might be tonight. against this Lakers defense. He might get his minutes up a little bit more. I mean, he had 39% usage. So I follow the usage, and I know this guy's a capable scorer. They don't have anyone else really at this point. So I think he's a really strong play. I think we can go, like you said, Max Christie, even Klay Thompson. Dylan Harper, I think, is a decent play. I think, Castle's banged up. They said he's going to play, but he's definitely banged up. I think some of these Spurs guys are feeling it, and he could see a minutes bump in this one, so I like that. And then lastly, I'll just mention Edgecombe is just seeing ridiculous minutes, just like Maxey. Those are like the two big minutes guys. And then the last one, Quentin Grimes for 4,400. His role is just strong, and the minutes are there, even off the bench. So 27, 28 minutes at 4,400 in a pretty decent matchup. So like that. Oh, I want to say one last thing about Clifford. Clifford is going to start tonight. He may end up being the point guard tonight too. Wait to see what this lineup looks like for the Kings, but I definitely think he's in play.
When he first started playing more minutes, he kind of looked like somebody who is just going to be a super low point per minute producer, but he's gotten a lot better as this season has gone on.
Yep.
Small forward, who do you like?
Small forward. Okay, some of these guys are going to overlap. So Dyson Daniels. My guy tonight is Kuminga. I'm a Kuminga stan. I always thought he was good. I don't know what the hell Steve Kerr does over there with the Warriors. I know he sat my man Tatum out forever too, so I don't trust anything the guy does anymore. So long story short, Kuminga deserved a lot better. I don't know what he did to make Steve Kerr so mad at him, but he's a baller. He can attack the hoop. He can stuff the stat sheet every single which way. Good defender. Going to attack the rim. This is Washington. Yes, the minutes are a concern. He's probably on a limit here. They may even start him. I think they'll probably bring him off the bench again. But he just put up 46 fantasy points, 24 minutes in this same matchup. And I think he just rolls again. So I love Kuminga tonight. I wrote him up. So he's one of my guys. Najee Marshall against Sacramento just should have a ridiculous role. Buzelis for the Bulls. He's my favorite Bulls player. And then you can get to guys like Ace Bailey. I think Klay Thompson is even interesting too, just because he's so cheap. And I have these warm, fuzzy memories of him breaking a 3-point record against Sacramento once in upon a time. That I always, whenever I see Sacramento, I'm always interested. But the minutes should be fine for 4K, and he's a guy who can get hot and absolutely put up some numbers.
No problem with that for me whatsoever. This is a surprisingly strong position today. I think Buzelis is your cash game guy. Really like Kuminga today. Not a whole lot to add other than the guys that you named. I think Conchar and Watkins probably going to be my favorite punts at this position. Don't know how much I get to of either of them, but don't mind going there for value today. And then I don't mind to spend up to Durant or Brandon Miller either. As we pivot to power forward here, we did just get a piece of news that Obi Toppin in his first game back is in the starting lineup. He is going to start today for Indiana. Now, they did say he's going to be on a minutes limit. Maybe that just means he plays the first 7 minutes of each half, and that's all he gets to. But I think it's a little interesting because it's obviously still guesswork. But with him in the starting lineup, that to me, that kind of implies maybe it's a 20, 22-minute limit as opposed to a 14-minute limit. And if that is the case, Obi Toppin at 3,900, I think is way, way too cheap. We do have Buzelis and Kuminga available to play here at the power forward position as well. Zion and Filipowski both look like very, very strong spend-ups today. I don't really like Precious Achiuwa. That's something that he has shown some ceilings, but I feel like I kind of want to get underweight too. And then you got Mo Gay as a super cheap punt. As long as he's in the starting lineup, looks decent. Who do you like at power forward?
My guy is Zion. So I like anyone who can attack the rim against this version of what the Jazz have been rolling out. So I worry about fourth quarter minutes for him, but he can just go berserk, and 25 up to close to 30 minutes. And I think that's what's going to happen tonight. And so I love Zion. I love pairing him with Kuminga for the at forwards. I think Buzelis is also in play here at power forward or small forward, like we said. Jeremy Grant is in play just because of we'll see. I mean, he may end up playing center tonight for all we know. Like, see what happens. But he should see a bunch of minutes. They're going to be without a bunch of guys, I think. That's how it's going to end up. Precious Achua has been awesome. And then the Dancing Bear, Ubaselli, 4,900 is a good price. And if they're just small, if Portland's small, he's a guy who can run the floor and power over these smaller guys. So I definitely like that.
All right, let's take a look at the center position. This is where it's most interesting, and it's tough to dive too deep into it yet until we know this Portland news, because if Klingon plays, Klingon is a great play. If he's out, Rob Williams looks really good, but Robert Williams is also listed as questionable. Currently only projected for 1 minute, but this will matter if both of those guys is out. Yang Hansen, also listed as questionable. If all three of these guys are out, City Sissoko probably is going to look pretty good because he's just going to have to play minutes. Like you said, Jeremy Grant will get some time there, but I think he's going to have to play at least 20, 25 minutes in that spot. And so I would like him if that's the case. Nick Richards as a punt, I don't mind whatsoever. Vukcevic in the mid-tier, I think is totally fine. If you want to spend up to Wemby or Embiid, all the power to you. I think there's strong plays today. But it's Marvin Bagley. That's the be-all, end-all with the position today. You 100% play him in cash. I'm debating playing him in walking him in 150 lineups.
Yep. He's the first guy I tagged, first guy I wrote up today. It's just so when we just got the notice now that Gafford is out, thought he'd be out anyway. Gafford's out. When he was on the floor, first of all, he's been playing very well in his short-lived stint. And this is a guy playing for his NBA life right now. He needs a contract. He needs to find a home. And he's been playing really well. He had 37% usage in the minutes he was on the floor in the last game. Now he plays Sacramento without Gafford, and Sacramento allows the second most fantasy points to opposing centers. I just think at 4,900, he's going to. And the revenge factor, right? This guy is an amazing play without any revenge. And then you just think about the feelings he's got to have against Sacramento and giddy up. And when I woke up today and I started looking at the slate, I was like, oh, this is the ultimate smash spot for Klingon. But problem is he got the midday downgrade from a sickness. So I think I'm under the assumption he's going to be out. If he does play, I agree. I'm with you. He looks awesome. I think Embiid can provide a lot of separation at this spot. So I think he's in play. You can go the other side of Marvin Bagley for, play Reno for Sacramento. He's just been really solid. Don't mind that. And then I do the guy on the Hawks who's going to be the forgotten guy is Okongwu. So for GPPs, I'm definitely interested there. And then last but not least, if you want the worst revenge narrative you can find, you can play DeAndre Ayton against this former squad. So that's.
I didn't realize how cheap Ayton was. 5,100. Yeah. I'm playing him.
Yeah, you can definitely play him.
Don't mind that whatsoever. We'll make the pivot over to FanDuel here, but before we do, want to make sure I tell you about Pick Labs. It's the newest RotoGrinders feature that lets you scan the best player props and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything's broken down for you from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which plays stand out across sportsbooks and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Pick Labs builds a slip and sends it straight to the book of your choice. You can find Pick Labs at rotogrinders.com/picklabs. You'll be wondering how this wasn't a thing already. Plus, NASCAR projections are live for the 2026 season, including projections from RotoDoc and Stevie TPFL. You'll get access to articles and videos on RotoGrinders breaking down each race. The Lineup HQ Optimizer will come preloaded with player and ownership projections for the Trucks, NOAPS, and Cup Series. Additionally, you'll receive access to Stevie's betting picks, as well as exclusive access to our NASCAR channel in the RotoGrinders Discord. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. If you came in late, free content. All we ask is that you give that like button a little click. Let's swap over to FanDuel point guard position. Who do you like? We got a couple less games here.
Yep, but it's the same first two first three for point guards here. So you got the Portland guys. You got Drew Holiday and Scoot Henderson, which we just talked about. There's no difference for me here. I like them both, but I like Scoot Henderson better. I go with the younger guy. CJ McCollum should absolutely. This is the spot tonight with the guys gone to have a bunch of usage against his former squad. Easy matchup, easy peasy against Washington. Dyson Daniels to play him on shooting guard or point guard, probably more of a shooting guard play. And then Tyrese Maxey for a stud, and Brandon Williams, I don't mind, and Dillingham, I don't mind either too. Just so cheap, and I think his minutes are going to keep increasing a little bit. And my fade here is Josh Giddey, like I said, fading him because of Kamara defense.
I agree with your take from earlier where I'm still on DraftKings. I'm going to fade these first two games if we don't get this Portland news in the next 15 minutes. But on FanDuel, probably wouldn't do it for two reasons. One, because you don't have those last two games. But secondly, there's not as much to like pay up for over here. But also everyone has so much positional flexibility on FanDuel. It's so easy to rebuild lineups after some of these games starts. Like everybody can be played everywhere. And so I'm not quite as worried about having to rebuild swap around on FanDuel.
Well, the funny thing is like you would think like Scoot Henderson would have shooting guard eligibility or something. They don't. Like they're both
the guys who should don't, and all the ones who shouldn't do.
Well, it's like so. It's like when I'm trying to like rebuild and I have that and I can't do it, and I'm like, God damn it, this is FanDuel. Like, what do you mean I can't do this? You know, and it's got me the other night. But yeah, I agree.
Nothing really to add here. I like Holiday and Henderson are great. I prefer Henderson in tournament. Holiday the cash play. I like CJ McCollum as well. Dillingham the best punt. Take us over to shooting guard.
All right, so. Shooting guard, we got CJ popping.
Taj Gibson to sign with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, Taj Gibson is almost as old as Chop.
Like he's got to be 40, isn't he? 40 years old on the dot.
On the dot. He's probably got another 10 years to hit Chop, but at least. But anyways, Colin Sexton, nah. I'm just looking like on ownership guys and going from there. Dyson Daniels, I said, love him. Fading Giddey. I don't know what to do with Malik Monk if he plays, because he's somebody who can light it up, and 4,700. So that's interesting. I want some more clarification and see who they start and whatnot, or what their plans are going to do. But I also, like I said, I'll say it again over here. Clifford for Sacramento may end up playing point tonight for all we know, but probably starts. And so 5,400, I think he's a good play. Max Christie is kind of like you're probably missing on ceiling for him. But if you last one in type of guy, Pelly Larson's been playing a ton of minutes for Miami. I can see that working out. Yeah, it's shooting guard's kind of gross-ish. It's CJ McCollum here and Dyson Daniels for me.
Yeah, I definitely want to be getting to at least one of those Atlanta guys for sure. Outside of them, like Max Christie looks like a really great value. I would be good with playing him in cash. Just again, like I don't know how big of a ceiling that he has. I like that you can play Dillingham at shooting guard. Don't mind Nick Clifford. If he plays, I think you could play a Malik Monk, but that's interesting with him still listed as questionable. And then if you are playing the early games, I do like Con Knipple a fair amount as well. Small forward, we got Buzelis as the clear cash game play here. Either Christie or Kuminga alongside him at this position. And then Grant comes into play in the cash consideration if we get Klingon out as well. Who do you like at small forward for tournaments?
All right. Kuminga's my guy. He's my number one. Buzelis, I like. Ricochet is now going to get a good amount of minutes for only 4,100 now that Walker's out, so he could do okay. The guy who's kind of out there that I don't think will get a ton of ownership, that just because he's like kind of always the forgotten man here. Give me Kamara against this sloppy Bulls offense, and to get a bunch of steals on FanDuel tonight. So I think he's a good FanDuel play here. And then Jeremy Grant, if I didn't already mention him, Clifford again, Najee Marshall is probably my favorite play on Dallas. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, Brandon Miller, always Brandon. I'm a Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller. Whenever I want to play a Charlotte guy, Brandon Miller is my guy.
Buzelis obviously can play here as well. Same, or sorry, were we? That was small forward. Take us power forward. My bad. I jumped again.
Okay. Power forward. We've got Kuminga again. If you need him, small forward or power forward, it's my favorite.
Kuminga, Buzelis, Grant. Those three really just great plays at either of these spots.
I do on FanDuel. I do kind of like Okongwu for a lesser owned Atlanta Hawk guy, but actually his ownership did spike up. But regardless, I think he's going to do very well against Washington. So I like him. I like Kamara again here too as well. You can play Bam here, Adebayo. You can play Najee, who I already said. Precious. And then hold on. I'm just trying to see something here. Man, Wemby, he just looks like a terrible play tonight, just because of his 12K and the fact that he's been beaten up in his last two games, and it's a back-to-back. But it is a good really strong matchup against the Nets, and there is value everywhere with this Portland side. So you can fit him very easily. So I like that. And I also there's just not a lot of studs on FanDuel. That's the problem.
Really, really like your Congo call. I think that's my favorite play at the position outside of those other three that we previously mentioned. Just because center is so strong, that's a good center option that has power forward eligibility. And so really, really like playing him there. At center in cash, you have to play Marvin Bagley, number one play on the slate. I would consider locking him in tournaments, but I do like Vukcevic as a pivot. I do think Maxime Reyno is an interesting pivot. Klingon, if he plays, look great. I guess any of the Portland power forward centers, like if it's Klingon who plays, great. If he's out and Williams is in, great. If both of them are out, load up on Sissoko. So any of the Portland centers, I do think look really, really strong. And then I thought there was one other guy that I wanted to mention, but I actually do think, and then Nick Richards if you want a full out punt. But who do you like at center?
Yeah, it's the same. To me, it comes down on FanDuel. It comes down to like whether you want to play Bagley or like whether you want to play Embiid, because his price is decent at 9,400. Probably not getting more than 30-ish, 32-ish minutes out of him yet as he's working his way back again. But do think he's in play for sure on FanDuel. But yeah, Bagley is the guy. If you're looking for like someone different, just to be different, try to get. I do like the Reyno call. Diabate could do all right here at 5,500. And I'm trying to look at other center eligible only guys. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Klingon, if he plays, is a smash. We know that, but I don't think he's going to play.
All right, keep hitting that like button. We got about 8 minutes left to lock. Let's start taking some QQs here. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. Going to the YouTube chat second. YouTube. Make sure you are smashing that like button for us. Yahoo 2v2 going to Kid Yahoo for our first question, and it's a Yahoo question. Drew and LaMelo versus Collier and Ant, and then in brackets, Kirkwood is the king of Yahoo.
I guess I would go Drew and LaMelo.
QQ DK single entry last piece: Precious Achua or Gershon Yabusele. That is a tough one. Who do you like better?
Yeah, give me the Dancing Bear. Give me some Yabusele.
Gershon Yabusele it is. Thoughts on Micah Potter for DraftKings GPPs? Think that's getting a little too cute. I don't think we got to go to Micah Potter tonight. going to be a no from me on him. DK GPP 3v3. You ready?
Yeah.
Dillingham, Larson, and Luca, or Clifford, Zion, and McCollum?
Give me the Lucas side.
Najee Marshall or Jeremy Grant, DK single entry. Honestly, I think that'll depend on the Klingon news, and you will be able to wait for it because that Dallas game starts starts 30 minutes after the Portland game. And so if Klingon is in, I would go with Najee Marshall. If Klingon is out, I would go Jeremy Grant by a pretty significant margin. Mo Gay or Nick Richards, DK GPP last piece. Who do you like?
Probably Mo Gay, but I think they're both. Those are like totally similar plays tonight on the slate. So I guess I would lean Mo Gay, but.
All right, who do you like better, Dyson Daniels or CJ McCollum?
Actually, what's Nick? How much is Nick Richards on DraftKings?
4K, I believe.
Let me change that. Let me go Nick Richards.
I like it. Who do you like better, Dyson Daniels or CJ?
Man, I like them both. I think CJ puts up more offensive points, but I think on FanDuel, give me. I like them both because he's got a nice price over there. If I had to choose, I guess take McCollum, but I like them both.
Next question is, can you play them together in GPP?
Absolutely.
No problem with that. Either Marshall or I just had that one. Sorry. Any love for Şengün for a FanDuel GPP?
Coming off a triple double last night, though, it's just the back to back here. The one I like just like the sneaky play. It's probably not the best match for him. Amen Thompson, just because he didn't play yesterday. It seems like maybe they were resting him for this spot tonight.
Last piece on FanDuel. You want Pelle Larson or Gershon Yabusele?
Yabusele.
We have had speaking of Taj Gibson getting signed, old guys that we didn't know were still around. DeAndre Jordan, randomly the new starting center for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Dude, what are they doing?
I don't know. I really don't know. What are your thoughts on him? Maybe just like, honestly, my best guess would be like a way to manage Derek Queen's minutes.
Well, they put him. They don't even start. He's off the bench now, and I think they're like
what I mean. Like maybe it's just a way of managing his minutes a bit, and maybe someone's going, all right, we're going to make you watch this film, teach you how to set a screen. I truly have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing big. He got 32 minutes the other night.
32 with Queen out, but then Queen came back last game and he still started.
Yeah. I don't know how long this is going to last or what. At 4K, he's totally fine. He could dominate Utah in there. It'll be Filipowski. He could absolutely dominate him in shorter minutes.
DK GPP forward position 5,600 or less. Who do you got? Let me scroll. Neat Clifford, I think, is the guy that I'd be going with there. Fox or Nembhard on DK?
Wait, how much was what was the pricing on that last question?
5,600 or less at forward.
Oh yeah, do whatever you need to do to get 200 more to get to Kuminga is what I would say. But sorry, what was the next one?
Fox or Nembhard?
I just don't want to give me Fox, but I think Fox could have a bigger game tonight, with Castle being banged up a little bit. So
any Brandon Williams for DK? Yes, absolutely. He's one of the best guard plays on the slate. Am I crazy for playing Tyler Hero in a GPP?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not getting to any Hero either. If Norman Powell was out, then maybe I would have gotten to him, but since he got ruled in, and same with Davion Mitchell, with those guys out, I liked Hero, but with them in, don't really feel the need to get there. Thoughts on Devin Carter if Malik Monk sits? I like it. I don't get to Devin Carter if Monk were to play, but if he's out, I think he's very viable. I got there the other day and he barely played. That one hurt a lot, but
yeah, he may not play. So like, I would say if he's starting, definitely.
But I think if Monk's out, he should for sure get like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing with him. But yeah, I hear you.
How many DK points is Austin Reeves projected for? I can tell you. Austin Reeves projected for 35.45 DK points, my friend.
We have huge news. Producer Steve has said that he will quit his job tonight if the Pacers win.
Steve, you better not, my friend, because you at least can't quit till I get back from Toronto, because I can't do producing for like a 4-day stretch.
Wait,
so you can't.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Toronto Toronto, then New York. I got to get myself to Toronto, but then Disney is flying me out to New York to do some interviews for the new season of Daredevil. So pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for that. So I'll spend about 10 hours in New York City on Monday before heading back to Toronto.
You know what? I'm going to double down on this. And if the Pacers win tonight, I will streak Fenway Park opening day. So we will have a double all-in bet here.
Tim's saying, good thing we got an emergency producer. Good. Tim's ready to step up this weekend if the Pacers win. Hopefully the Pacers lose so that we don't have to worry about any of this. 1 minute left to lock. We have hit all the questions. Who do you got breaking the slate tonight? Who are you feeling in the plums?
Man, I want to say Kuminga, but it's like, can he really break it fully? Over on FanDuel, I'm going to say Dyson Daniels breaks this.
I like it. No problem with that whatsoever. I think I'm going to go Brandon Williams breaking the slate tonight. I like him quite a bit. I think that'll do it. We have hit all the questions. Big pieces of news you are still waiting on is Portland. Donovan Clingan is listed as questionable. Robert Williams is listed as questionable. Yang Hansen listed as questionable. Every big man on that team other than Sissoko. So you got to keep an eye on it because Clingan is a great play if he plays. If he's out, Williams looks great. If he's out too, then Sissoko is going to look like a very, very strong value play today. And Jeremy Grant will look like one of the strongest plays on the slate as well. So definitely keep your eye on that news. Other than that, I think we have hit everything we need. One more question from Tim Booker. What are your thoughts on Kevin Durant tonight?
Yeah, I think he's okay. There's less studs than normal typically on this slate tonight. So I think, yeah, it's a back-to-back, but I think he's decent.
Don't mind it either. $8,900 Durant just always looks pretty sweet. Let me double check something here. There we go. All right. I saw a private message from Steve and so I was worried that I forgot like an ad read or something, but it was just saying, hope the Pacers don't win. So go Charlotte, go tonight. That'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We will be back tomorrow. We'll see you next time. Peace.